Are you ready for the PATS Nation? The only real deal Patriot post-game show. And now, Corso and Catone.
Welcome into PATS Nation, the real Patriots post-game show presented by Corso and Catone, Saturdays at 7 p.m. Week 3 of the NFL season sees the New England Patriots drop yet another home loss to the New Orleans Saints, 28-13. Chris Corso alongside Mark Catone. Our producer, Joe Guarnieri, is with us. Has us up on YouTube Live, so make sure you chat in. We get the live chat going. And make sure that, Mark, we want them to subscribe. Give us that thumbs up. You can also catch us at Podbean and anywhere you podcast. Check us out on Twitter at Corso_Catone, and you give us a call, 855-313-PATS, 855-313-7287. You can call us live or leave a message for us. Listen, we have a lot to unwrap in this debacle today. Mac Mania, we're going to have our Sunday Stiff, which you don't want to miss, and Brady versus Belichick. So, Mark, just give me your impressions before we get into Mac Mania. Just give me your impressions to begin with.
Well, you said it correctly, Chris. Debacle, because that's what this was a debacle. I think it was, it was just, I think we have a lot of things were exposed, Chris. I think we have a lack of skilled players. We have, our offensive line is horrendous right now. Our defense, when the money's on the line, is soft. It's just a debacle. You that's the perfect word, Chris. Debacle.
Yeah. My initial impression, $90 million. So just keep that number in mind for when we get a little further into the show. $90 million. So let's get right into it. Mac Mania, Joe. So, Mark, he's 30 of 51 for 270 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 picks. Unwrap that.
Well, one of the picks, Chris, was one of your $90 million tag team. That wasn't an interception. I mean, the guy's he's getting paid $50 million. He's got to catch the damn ball, Jonnu Smith. And then the last pick, it's garbage time. He's trying to put the ball, what was it, 4th and 10? I mean,
it's like a Hail Mary.
It was like a Hail Mary. I mean, I don't know if you can put that on him either. But listen, was it a great performance? No, but I don't think it was as bad as maybe those numbers appear to be, Chris. He was under duress the entire game, right? The offensive line was awful. He took a couple of sacks. Maybe he could have gotten rid of the ball. I mean, but overall, Chris, I think he took what was given to him again. I mean, there wasn't much there. I mean, they were rushing 4 guys, getting pressure with 4 guys, and dropping 7 back. There was nobody open. I mean, these receivers stink. Let's call a spade a spade. They stink. I'm going to say it. They stink. How many times you want me to say it on this show tonight? They stink, the receivers. So I think he did what he could with what he has in front of him, Chris.
You know what? I don't put this on him at all. I don't put this loss on him, nor do I put the interception. I agree with you with the last interception.
Yeah.
That was like a Hail Mary. The one to jump, well, I'll get to that in a second. But the other one he threw, he's getting hit as he's falling, and then, it's a ball trickles out. It goes into the other one hands. Listen, he got his ass kicked again all day long. It happened against Miami, 9 hits. It happened against the Jets. I don't even know how many hits. Okay, and it happened again today. I'll get the numbers and figure out how many sacks there were for the Saints. But
the hits were unbelievable. Chris, you got hit all day, though.
In the first half, he got hit 9 times. And so I honestly stopped, keeping count of how many times this guy got sacked. But look, the bottom line is I don't put this on him. Like you said, I don't put it on him because he was just under, like you say, under duress all day. And yes, they got to him with 4 at times, but they were coming after him. They were coming after him all day long.
In the first half, they did, Chris. The second half, though, if you looked at the film of the second half, the offensive line was so bad, Chris. The second half, they didn't do that as much. They were getting pressure with 4 in the second half.
Well, listen, and I'm trying to count up the total sacks right now. So looks like they had 2 sacks. They had 2 sacks in the game, but they hit them. They hit them so many times. It's ridiculous. And listen, no, I thought they were bringing not as much heat in the second half, but they were still bringing heat. They were bringing guys from the edge. They were looping. They were bringing guys underneath, some stunts that were happening. And I think what teams think is that if we bring pressure, if we disguise things, if we change up the look, it's going to confuse this kid. No, that's BS, Mark. That's not confusing him at all. He's going through his reads. Who's getting confused is the friggin' offensive line. That's who's getting confused, Mark, as to what's going on with all this pressure. But the book is out now. The book is out on them. They can't protect them. So as far as Mac Jones goes today, yeah, the numbers stink, okay? They're not good, and 3 picks and all that. But again, I'm not being an apologist for the kid, but I'm also not going to – okay, what I will say about it is – Did you feel some of his throws? Was it all duress, or was some of them he overthrew Bourne? I mean,
he overthrew a couple of balls, Chris. I think he was trying to make something happen. Isn't that what a quarterback's supposed to do? He was trying to make something happen with a lack of skilled position players to help him do that. He overthrew a couple of guys, Chris. He absolutely did. But there were a couple of those overthrows. If you had a receiver that had some speed, they probably could have run under the ball. We don't have that. So, but he definitely overthrew a few guys. He absolutely did.
Yeah, he overthrew Bourne down the sideline on the left.
And there was one play in the second half, Chris. I thought he had Aguilar open in the seam down in the end zone, and I think he threw it behind him.
Yeah.
But he was under duress a little bit, but that was a ball that I bet he wishes he had back.
That's the one where they were going to the north end zone, right? Yeah. See what happened there. Those 2 guys were confused on that. I think he thought he was going to continue on the post to the center of the field, and he didn't. And instead he went a corner route to the back corner of the end zone
because Aguilar had the guy beat.
Oh, he was beat. Yeah, he was open. That's a touchdown. So I think that situation, I don't know which one was on the wrong page. No. The way Aguilar responded and reacted, it looked to me like, it was probably Mac Jones bad. And then he overthrew him Borden on that sideline. Of course, he's probably used to guys like Waddle and Smith being able to run under the damn ball, like that crossing pattern over the middle, right? Where he throws it and it's a little ahead of the receiver. Yeah, if that's Waddle or Smith, that's a touchdown. No, and that just goes to your point. That just goes to your point. So
they don't have that here.
So the bottom line for you on Mac Jones, Mark, is what?
Listen, Chris, he's a rookie. Yes. Could he do things better? Absolutely he could. He overthrew some guys. Maybe he held the ball a couple of times too much. But to your point, Chris, they brought pressure from everywhere to try to confuse the kid. They didn't confuse the kid. What they did was they showed how weak the weaknesses of our offensive line and pass protection. But they didn't confuse the kid, Chris.
Yeah. He took hits when he needed to. Like he took a sack that he should have taken because, there's just nothing downfield. You'd rather see him do that. But he took a sack too that, he held the ball for a long time, couldn't see anybody open, which you could still get on the, receivers for. But he ended up taking that sack when he should have thrown it away. So, listen, Mac Mania was presented by Special Sauce Podcast, Startup Finance, and Drive Yourself to Success. SpecialSaucePodcast.com. Mark, let's get to the rest of the offense because, well, you know what? Let's stay on topic. Talk about the receivers right now because I know you're about to explode on that one.
Chris, okay. You have Jacoby Myers. You have Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar.
I'll give you the numbers in a second. Go ahead.
I don't even know if I want to know the numbers. I'll end up going to throw up. Chris, they just can't get separation. There's no separation. Listen, you are 100% right, Chris. They were bringing pressure from everywhere. You know why they were bringing pressure from everywhere? Because you can play man-to-man, one-on-one, man-to-man on the outside. There's no threat of anybody running by you. They don't have to worry about that. They manned up. They brought as much pressure as they needed to get this kid off the spot because there's no fear of their outside receivers, Chris. So every team is going to do that every week to you because they're going to bring that kind of pressure because you don't have to worry about the outside. Your corners, even if they're average corners, are probably going to be able to handle what we have for receivers, Chris. So that's going to be a reoccurring problem every week. Yes, the intent is to confuse Jones, but now there's no fear of our receivers. It's week 3. The league is looking at, okay, those free agent picks they picked up did nothing for their receiving core. They're as bad as they were last year. So they're just going to continue to bring pressure.
And you're never going to get downfield throws when you can't do shit in the middle of the field, which comes with those tight ends. So you can't do anything in the middle. You can't throw the ball down the field. Kendrick Bourne was 6 receptions on 8 targets for 96 yards and a touchdown. He had a pretty good day. That's a pretty good day.
Didn't a bad day.
Jacoby Myers missed 5. He was 9 catches on 14 targets for 94 yards. Listen, Jacoby Myers is carrying this receiving core, which is the saddest thing I've ever heard. Is Jacoby Myers carrying this receiving core?
But Chris, those numbers are a little deceiving too. I'm going to tell you why.
Because he threw the ball. He threw the ball 50. He threw the ball
50-something times, and I'm going to tell you something, Chris. If you go back and look, a lot of these receptions, it was 3rd and 17, 3rd and 18, 3rd and 19. So these guys were picking up 10, 12 yards, 10, 12 yards. Well, if you do that 5, 6 times, okay, you got 70 yards, but it was on 3rd and 19, so you were punting right after the catch. So that was a little deceiving when you go back and look at how they caught those balls.
It was better. It was better in the second half than it was in the first half. For sure, it was better in the second half. And by the way, there was a Hunter Henry sighting today. He caught 5 balls for 36 yards off 6 attempts.
We call that a sighting. Yeah,
his average is pretty good.
How much are we paying him?
Let's go further down the list for a minute. Aguilar. There's nothing to talk about there. But Aguilar had 8 targets, 2 catches, 8 targets, 2 catches for 17 yards. Okay. That's an average of 7 point something a catch. That's good. And then let's get to the one reception off 6 targets for Mark, 4 yards.
Chris, so how much money are we paying him?
Once again, $90 million is going to these 2 stiffs. Okay.
What were their combined stats, Chris?
And one of them had 5. Their combined stats were 6 receptions for 40 yards off 10 targets.
I'll tell you, Chris, what
Asiasi could do better. Keene could do better than that.
Chris,
they were doing better.
Chris, who was the GM that signed those guys?
Well, of course, can do better. Mark, $50 million for so to finish with the wide receivers, again, not good enough. And it's been not good enough since 2019, Brady's last year here.
Yes.
They sucked then, and they suck now.
So
Jacoby Myers was his number 1 too.
Chris, Mark, this is 3 years now. You've been waiting for a wide receiver. Brady's last year, and this year. What?
I'm spitting all over my microphone, Chris, stuff.
My earpiece fell out. I'm so aggravated. Chris, what is the problem? It's been 3 years. How can you not? You had all that money last year to spend. How do you not still have a receiver on this damn team 3 years later? 3, not 1, not 2, 3.
Go through the list, starting with Metcalf. Go through them. Metcalf. Mark's too disgusted to even do it. Metcalf, Brown for the Titans. Samuel, who's your guy, for San Francisco. Who's the kid you liked last year in the second round? Rondell White.
Rondell Moore from Purdue. I loved him. Who did we take? You took. I'm not going to swear. I'm going to be good. I'm not going to swear, Chris. We took your buddy, Chris Love Bondmo. Oh, he's a steal. You don't got a guy that can catch a football. He watched defensive tackles, for Christ's sakes.
It's hard to you got to take your licks. You got to take your licks. I have to take my licks. Mark, what the hell is the tight ends, obviously.
The tight ends, Chris, listen. Is it the tight ends weren't as good as we thought they were? Like, why can't they get open? Like, is it something we're doing? Like, I don't know what it is. Is it the I don't know what it is. Is it the routes? What is it? These guys came from offenses where they were very productive.
Mark, you know what? You had to bring up tight. I was ready to let the tight end thing pass and get to the running backs, but I can't do it. Jonnu Smith, okay? I'm pissed off. Joe, the volume's probably, you better adjust it right now. I'm so pissed off about Jonnu Smith right now. He dropped 4 passes, Mark, okay? He dropped 4 passes. He got 6 targets. He dropped 4 of them. 4 of them were in his hands, and he dropped them. One of them would have been a real good catch, but $50 million, you make that catch. And not only that, one of the balls you tip and drop with your butterfingers goes the other way for 6 points. You
So,
paid
Chris,
this guy
was
$50
that
million.
pass that he tipped? Was that Jones's fault? Or was
No.
that on Smith?
Oh no, that's on Smith.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
All
Listen, if that were Asias, if that were Lacoste, yeah, I would say, maybe that. But Jonnu Smith, $50 million. Yeah, I'm going to keep saying $50 million. I don't give a shit, because you give a guy that much money, that's not a move you pull right there. And he's walking around the sideline, his helmet's off. Then he proceeds to drop a slip screen pass that was right in his hands. Completely drops it. Now what? It's in his head now? So you can't throw the ball in the middle of the field, Mark. You can't throw the ball in the middle of the field because those guys suck and can't get open. So therefore, you can't throw the ball to the outside because those guys suck and can't get open. So next thing, so what do, Mark? You throw to the backs. Go. Talk about the backs. Go ahead and leave one of them for me.
Okay, I know who I'm leaving for you. So, Chris, I will say this. It looks like James White, they carted him off. I mean, they said it was a hip.
It looks like a bad injury. Yeah.
That looks like a bad injury. It was a weird fall, Chris. It didn't look like anything when you watch the replay, but evidently it was something, because, I mean, they carted him off. So that looks like that could be a bad injury, which means maybe you're going to have to activate the kid Stevenson. The kid only led your team in touchdowns. He looked like a battering ram in the preseason. And you got the kid inactive because he fumbled the ball week 1. That wasn't even a fumble. Are you kidding me? Really? Chris,
you're going to redshirt this guy again?
You're going to redshirt a kid that should be on the goddamn field. And I'm not even going to mention who they're playing. I'll let you get to that. Chris, in the first couple of drives, you ran the ball once. Which made no sense to me. When we talked yesterday on our Pats Nation preview of this game that you're going to have to run the ball. You're going to have to mix it up a little bit to set some stuff up, because we said that they have a good defense. New Orleans has a defense. That was one of the strengths of their team, was defense. So you're going to have to mix it up. You come out and run the ball once with that running back room you have. And Chris and I have been saying for 3 months, the strength of this team is the running back room. And we thought the offensive line, but we'll get to them. So, Chris, I don't understand it. How are you not? Damian Harris, what do they have? How many carries did he have today, Chris? 5, 6 carries? I don't even remember getting the ball.
Harris had 6 carries for 14 yards.
Okay, I was right.
Mac Jones had 6 carries for 28 yards.
All right. I was right. I said 5, 6 carries. How does Damian Harris, Chris, get 6 carries with this offense?
No, I have no idea. It's putrid, and the coaching right now, Josh McDaniels. But listen, is there a reason why J.J. Taylor can't see the field until the second half of games?
Well, he's going to see the field now because, I mean, like you said, and I hope he's okay, but it looked like White's injury was something significant.
Oh, no. Hey, listen, every time J.J. Taylor touches the ball, something happens.
Well, Chris, who are they using in that role?
No. Listen, they're not going to use J.J. Taylor for James White. No. They want to put dreadlocks out there. They want to put Brandon Bolden on the field. He sucks. Mark. Okay,
Chris, how do you feel about
Brandon
Bolden? Joe, how does he feel about Bolden, Joe?
For 5 years, I wanted to get this guy out of town, Brandon Bolden. Remember, since like 2015, I've wanted this kid out. I wanted this guy out. He sucks as a kick returner.
Chris,
he sucks as a running back. He really sucks as a blitz pickup guy. He sucks out in space. What else is left, Mark? 4th and 1?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, Chris. Why is he on the field?
4th and 1. You want to give Bolden the ball. I told you last week. I won't insult you. I told you last week. Well, Joe can run faster than him. We'll just go after Joe tonight. The hell with it,
Chris,
Mark,
but that's what you need.
Sucks.
Chris, that's where you need Stevenson. Why is he inactive?
I can't even understand why. Because you're so concerned. You're so concerned about the special teams. Okay, because they played really, really well today. the special teams. That's what you want Bolden out there for, special teams, so you could put him on kickoff, so he could just do this when the ball's kicked out of bounds. He sucks. He just stinks. I don't know what else to say.
And he's on the field, Chris, playing. He got a lot of playing time today, a lot of touches, a lot of playing time.
Yeah, because Belichick, that's his guy. He's safe. He's not safe. He stinks. And then, Mark, we'll get to that. We'll get to some of this coaching in a few minutes.
No, but so the running game, Chris, listen, I don't even know if you could put anything on the running backs and say, the running backs had a poor game. They weren't utilized, I don't think. I got to put that on Josh McDaniels and Belichick. The running backs in the running game,
Speaking of Bolden again, okay? Here's the other reason why JJ, he's a little subtle thing that everybody can pick up on. Go watch the game again. Blitz pickup. If your whole reasoning for put Bolden on the field is to blitz pickup, he stunk at that today. And by the way, when Mr. Taylor got out on the field, did you see him chipping at the end? Did you see him on the way out of the backfield chipping on Cam Jordan, and then they got him under control? I don't understand then. Yeah, I don't care he's 5'6". He plays like he's 6'4" over Bolden. So again, Mark, we got to get to the
How about you want to talk about chipping? But when we talk about the offensive line, we're going to talk about that. Let's go to the offensive line.
Let's go. Mark, I'm so pissed. Go ahead. Talk about
Chris,
them.
can I ask you a question? When is the experiment going to end with this kid, Isaiah Wynn, at left tackle? When's it going to end? He's not a left tackle. He's not Bill Belichick. Oh, he's a genius, Bill Belichick. Well, the genius keeps rolling out a kid at left tackle. That's not a left tackle. I mean, I can't even see, for Christ's sakes. I got glasses, they're this thick, and you watch him, and he's not a left tackle. So why is he there?
Mark, he was a guard coming out of college, Georgia, right?
Georgia, yeah.
He came out of Georgia. He was a guard, and they were going to make him into a left tackle. And they got rid of Brown, who now they have back, so that they could make this guy into a left tackle. Now they got Brown, and they're going to have him play right tackle. Mark, I don't understand. Look, they rushed for 49 yards. So the offensive line stunk.
Chris, listen, the whole offensive line stunk. The right side of the line is a major problem until Brown comes back. The right side of that line is a major, major problem. But even when Trent Brown comes back, Chris, we were talking about this during the game. Brown needs to kick the left tackle and get Wynn on the right side put Wynn on the right side, Chris. Wynn, if you I want people to go rewatch the tape, Chris. He gets beat. So it's awful, Chris.
Listen,
it's awful.
Wynn stinks.
Chris, how about they're trying to set up a screen? Let's talk about that. You brought that up there in the game. They can't get out and block.
No, and who's 71? Who's that left? Who's the left guard over here?
I don't know who that was. I forget his name, Chris. Joe will look that up. Joe might be a winner. Joe will look that up for us.
It was nice watching him trying to get across the field to block somebody, and he couldn't get his fat ass across there to take care of that. Okay, to take care of the screen, and White would have had, I think it was White, he would have had another 20 yards. It's so many little subtle things that's happening.
Joe, wasn't that Joe Tooney's position?
Yeah, yep. Another guy didn't want to pay.
Well, no, because they gave the money to tight ends.
Yeah, by the way, Kansas City's 1-2 also on the season. But anyway. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about the damn offensive line. The right side stinks, and they continue to stink. Mark, did you see the play? Haran is horrendous. They need to bring Karras up from the practice squad and get him out there. Because Haran stinks, and I don't even know who the third guy is out there, but he stinks too.
Tell us a little bit about Haran.
Haran, okay. In the third, I think it was the third or fourth quarter, okay. Yeah, the right guard, Joe, is Shaq Mason, yes. But the left guard, I believe, is Owinu, but who was coming across the field on that screen. But thank you, Joe, for looking that up. Okay, Haran takes his steps back. A defensive back, Mark, who he's probably got 120 pounds on, okay? Put him on his ass. Did you see that? Go back and watch everybody. Go back and watch the tape. Sorry to stick my hand in your face. Go back and watch the tape. He got put on his ass because he's too much of a fat ass to move his friggin' feet. His feet are awful. The worst on the offensive line. He can't shuffle out. He can't step back. He can't do anything. And a defensive back puts him on his ass. He looked like Max Lane in the 96 Super Bowl when Reggie White went over him 3 times in a row. Listen, I can't. I know last week we were nice. I told you, all you got to do is watch us to see if they won or lost. That's it.
Chris, it was, and Joe's telling us, yeah, the left guard is, you're right, is Enowinu, right? But Chris, he's regressed. He had a good year last year. Enowinu. They had high hopes for him. We thought, he had a real strong year last year. He's regressed.
The whole offensive line was terrible. The wide receivers weren't much better. And, Harris took what they gave him, which wasn't much. I mean, I don't put in a lot of it on him. J.J. Taylor's aching to get out on the field, and Brandon Bolden sucks.
So,
and
Chris,
by the way, Stevenson is home having a hot dog.
So, Chris, so we're talking about the offensive line. You're talking about guys getting out, right? And you had brought up earlier, when Taylor's out there, he chips before he goes out. He slows down.
Chipped Cam Jordan, slowed him down.
So, Chris, let me ask you a question.
Bolden doing that.
You got Jonnu Smith trying to block Cam Jordan.
Yeah, that's another one. Another one.
We had brought that up during the game to me. And he blew right by him.
What are you doing having a tight end try to block Cam Jordan on a deep drop, too? It's like a 5-step drop. You're looking down the field. You got your friggin' tight end with no chip. No running back to come over and help him block. That's what we mean by chip. Chip means as you're going out of the backfield as a running back, give him a little shot to help the lineman. So, Mark, I know we're spending a lot longer on the offense right now, but I think it bears, doing that at this moment.
It does. No, it does. It absolutely does. Because
listen. I'm with you. We'll spend a little less time on the defense, but it's terrible. And Mark, talk about McDaniel for a minute, because I know you're going to talk the other one and then later on. But
Chris,
talk about McDaniel right now. Who puts them in a position to have the tight end on Cam Jordan?
Well, that's him. That's his, whatever he's coming up with for play calling, whatever he's scheming, whatever they're doing, Chris, that's him. That's all on him. But I don't understand. Well, listen, I don't know. Is it all McDaniels, or is it McDaniels saying to himself, well, shit, this is what you gave me to work with, Bill. I mean, you give me nothing. I mean, the receivers stink. You've given me nothing for 3 goddamn years. So you want me to make chicken salad out of chicken shit? Well, that's what he's kind of trying to do here, Chris, right? Excuse me for the phrase, but that's what he's doing, Chris.
I love the phrase.
You got shit to work with, right? So, yes, McDaniels, absolutely, Chris. I think his play calling is terrible, but I think McDaniels at this point, Chris, is probably at a loss. Like, what the hell else do I do with these guys? I mean, I don't have anything. I don't know what you expect me to do with these guys. Like,
what, Mark?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know you're saying that right now because I know you're setting up for something else. I know it. I can feel it. And I know you better than anybody else. Okay. So I know you better than your wife knows you. Okay. And I know you're setting up for something, which is why you're giving them sort of a little bit of pass. Here's what I'll tell you. You run the ball one time in the first drive.
You're right.
You let the rookie, you let this kid throw 51 times today.
Yeah.
And when you didn't have to in the first half. And by the way, he still hasn't thrown a ball into the end zone. In the red zone. He still hasn't done it. $90 million, you don't throw the ball in the end zone in the red zone. Something's wrong.
And that was supposed to be, Chris, that's supposed to be Hunter Henry's specialty.
Something doesn't jive. It's not mixing for me. I don't understand the thought process. You're going to let him throw 51 times. You're not going to let him throw into the end zone in the red zone. Mark, it's blowing my mind. Okay, the offense blows my mind a little bit, and even with that, though, it was an 8-point game coming down the stretch anyway. And the next group we're talking about could not
come up with a stop again. Couldn't come up with a stop.
So yeah, Mark. And so when we come back, okay, we're going to talk about the defense. So Joe, take us to break. Disgusted.
How do I get to the point where I understand my passion? passionate enough to communicate it outward and dial myself in so that I can craft my own sauce. But you don't have anyone that's going to give you the right advice. Now you do. We've been discussing where we live and what areas do we want to always talk about. And really, it's startup, it's finance, and drop. We are Special Sauce Podcast.
With the Pats Nation, as Joe says, the only Patriots post-game show worth watching. So, Mark, they when it's the same story with them, from the Miami game to now. Forget the Jets game, but the Miami game and this game. When they need to get a stop and get off the field, the day looks okay, but when they need to get off the field, they can't do it, this defense. I mean,
Chris, listen, I get they looked.
I mean, they only allowed 128 yards passing. They allowed 13 to 21, which is a decent percentage. 128 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. But one of those was a terrible play by Jones. But go ahead.
Yeah. So, Chris, listen, they looked a little shaky early, and that's their MO. And then they settle in and they play better. But to your point, and listen, Chris, they held him to the guy missed a couple of field goals, but that so the score could have been a little bit different, even more. But the defense settled in a little bit in the middle of that game and did what they do. And then at the end, though, Chris, like you said, when you need to stop to get the ball back, your offense seems to come to life. They got a spot. They score. You're down 8. You're going to get the ball back. They go on a 7-minute drive. Not only did they go on a 7-minute drive, Chris, they pushed you all over the goddamn
and they put it in the end zone.
And they put it in the end zone. But Chris, it was the way they did it. They pushed them all over the field. It was just they inserted their will on us, and we allowed it. When is the last time you saw a Bill Belichick team, a team inserts their will in the fourth quarter on your offense when you were to get the ball back? This is twice in 2 weeks on their home field.
Last year. That's the last time I saw it. Last year. Because it's been like this now. The run defense has been like this now for 2 years. Mark, 38 rushes for 140. Again, 140. Last week they allowed 150.
They're giving up 150 yards a game.
They're 142 yards and 1 touchdown. It's 38 carries, so it's 3.7 a carry, which isn't the percentage. It's not bad. They rushed for 38,
but it's still 150
right.
yards.
I mean, they rushed 38 times. So and Kamara, they held him under 100. They held him 24 rushes for 89 yards. His average was 3.7. Hill was 6 for 32 out of 5 an average. So look, 142 yards stinks, but on 38 carries, it's not horrendous. But the problem with the first half of this game, I thought the secondary was lousy. I thought they were too soft. They played off ball way too much, meaning gave too much cushion to the wide receiver and couldn't close. Mills had that problem. Jones had that problem. And McCourty had that problem. I saw McCourty come up to make a tackle. His head was looking down in the ground. That was on that last drive, Chris, when you needed to stop. He did that. That was on Taysom Hill. I mean, what are you kidding me? Really? You can't tackle what you can't see. No. If you're that's the first thing you ever teach defensive backs from when they was 8 years old, 7 years old. Who teaches that technique? Lead foot, lead shoulder, okay? Head off to the side, head up, wrap, roll. That's how you tackle. Everybody, that's how you tackle as a defensive back. You don't tackle with your head down like this here, Mark, with your head down on the ground. Everybody can see that ball. You just don't do it that way. And I thought the defensive backs played better in the second half than they did in the first half. But, I mean, it's not good enough. And it's not like the Saints receivers are, what we're going to see next week. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Chris, let me ask you a question. Lawrence Guy, did he sign a 1 or 2 year contract? Was that 2 years we gave him again? Yeah, except it's too many. Oh my God, Chris, he looks awful. Chris, again today. Guy looked awful, absolutely awful in the middle of that defense. Mark, listen, I'm going to give you the See, and this is what I'm talking about, because I'm looking at the receiving numbers, and again, I feel like they played soft in that first drive. Listen, I can't put it on. I can't really put it on them when you cough up the ball on like the 7-yard line or whatever, and they take it back, or they take it back to the 7. That's tough. They brought them to 3 downs. They forced them 3 downs to score a touchdown, and Winston's dropping back. And I thought Jones played that ball awful, the way Jones played that ball in the back of the end zone. But so when you look at the numbers, they only caught 13 passes off 20. I mean, he only had 20 attempts.
Yeah.
21 attempts. They caught 13 of them. I mean, for 128 yards. That's not – he only had 142 yards passing. That's not a lot, Mark.
No, it's not. It's not, Chris. It's not.
It was 2 drives. Yeah, Mark. Like I said, it doesn't pass the eye test. Again, what's the eye test, Mark?
Chris, listen, I get it. You want to talk about
I got to tell everybody, what's the eye test?
Well, the eye test is what you see. They just don't – yeah, the numbers look good. But then when you watch them, so the numbers, okay, they only gave up 140-something yards passing. They only gave up 3.7 yards on average on the running game. Hey, they had a good game. But when you actually watch them, the eye test, what are you actually seeing? Never mind the stats. What do you see? It just it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right, Chris.
It doesn't look right. You know why, Mark? Because when they need stops, they can't get them.
Nope.
Now their third down percentage getting off the field was good after the Miami game, and it's gone down, I think. I mean, it wasn't good in this game. It wasn't good. It wasn't good for like 3 drives that were really important. And look, when you have an offense like this that's playing this poorly, you got to get off the field in key spots. Somehow, by a miracle, that offense was able to get back in the game. And I'll say it was the defense that allowed them to get back in the game in the second half. But Mark, what did we were on the phone talking about this. What we said it after they scored the touchdown. What did I say? What's going to happen here?
Oh, they went down the field.
They went down the field and they scored a touchdown. Even
Chris,
a field goal puts it out of reach.
You allow them and they ate up 7 minutes. Pretty much about 6:45 they ate up. So almost 7-minute drive they went on.
It's 3rd and 7. You got an opportunity to get off the field, and you're playing so soft. What, Mark, was that the little slant they threw? No,
yeah,
that was a 3rd down. That was a 3rd and short or 4th and short.
The slant was a 3rd and short.
Right. And here's the problem I had with that. You got a 3rd and short like that, and you got everybody.
They stacked the box.
They brought everybody to the line, and they were going to come.
Saying. Oh, they were coming. I thought they were up for the run, Chris.
If I'm calling that play on defense, and I'm going to give them that 0 look with everybody in the gaps and everybody up on the line, I'm pressing. I'm bringing my corners flat up to their face, because it's not like they got so much speed that they can beat you downfield on a 3rd and short.
Yeah.
Pull them up. Take away the inside. Stand on his inside. Get right in his face. Give him a bump and let your friggin' pass rush get home. To me, is it, Mark? Am I missing something in my breakdown of this?
No, not at all. Chris, listen. We've talked about this in the past. Their position group coaching, right? We talked about this last year. We weren't impressed with their position group coaching. It goes, your linebacker coaches, your defensive line coaches, and don't get me wrong, Belichick is in charge of bringing in those assistants and overseeing it. I'm not letting him off the hook by no means today. But Chris, what are they got on the sidelines? Calling plays. Who's calling the defensive plays?
I don't know.
Do we even know who calls the defensive plays?
They won't name a defensive coordinator.
I don't even know who calls.
I think it's Steve Belichick, but
Steve Belichick will not be on a football staff when Bill Belichick retires, unless it's one of Bill's friends. He won't be on anybody's staff because he stinks.
Mark, the only guy to me that's worth talking about on the defense in a positive way, again, is Judon. I mean, I thought Judon had another good game today. He was where he needed to be. I mean, he got pressure on the quarterback. Mark, can we put? Yeah, Dietrich Wise made 1 play today. Oh,
and you know who made a couple of plays today, Chris? Not a lot, but a couple. Don't
say Bentley to me.
No. I would never say Bentley. He slid, used his hands, got off blocks, made some tackles of the running backs. It was Gachow.
He did. He played better today. Guy still sucked.
I'm not saying Guy sucked, and Guy's a problem.
Anderson sucked.
Anderson
David, they all,
sucked.
the rest of those, yeah.
All free agents. Bondmore. Don't get me started with your buddy Bondmore. I love Bondmore. Chris is from another era. Defensive tackle in the second round. You don't got a receiver that can catch a goddamn ball. He wants the 310-pound tackle. Get him.
Yeah, Gottschall had 5 tackles. I'm not paying attention to this. Gottschall had 5. He had five tackles. Bentley he's still leading 6 tackles, 1 assist.
Gottschall, Chris, I thought played a better game today. He kind of stood out to me. And plus watching some of his technique, Chris, he was using some good technique today to shed blockers, which is what you would teach a defensive lineman to do, right? I mean, I know that's what you would teach your defensive lineman to do, what he was actually doing today. So I thought Gottschall had a better game today.
Right, and Judon had 2.5 sacks. So I mean, he continued, and I thought Phillips had a pretty good game today. But all in all, they're just a team that can't.
You know who had a poor game, Chris? Was Duggar.
Yeah, he was in spots he shouldn't have been in. He lost coverage a lot.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, right. I mean, that really touchdown, Chris Van Noy forces Kamara inside, and you brought this up during the game when I was talking to you that Duggar blew that. Tell us how he blew it, Chris. Remember the play? Van Noy forces Kamara into the middle. Duggar's supposed to be there. Duggar.
Oh my God!
Right?
So that first touchdown pass. Okay, when he hits him up the seam. Thank you for reminding me of that. Okay, so you have the linebacker, you have Duggar in the middle, and then you have another linebacker. Okay, so they're clearly in a zone. You could see it they're in their own little zones there, and he's got the high hole, the middle hole there. Here comes Kamara off the line into that little seam. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There was another receiver that came across, a little drag across. His job is to push him to the linebacker. You out, something he's saying to him. He pushes that guy to the linebacker and sits in that zone. Meanwhile, Kamara comes out. He delays out into the seam. Duggar's there to make the play. Instead, he goes with the first guy and leaves a gaping hole in the middle of the damn defense. I about lost my mind when I saw that. These are professionals, Mark. I got the high school kids that are doing better than that are trading routes off. So yeah, Mark, listen, and we got to get the break because I know on the next thing coming up, it's probably going to take a little while. But all in all, Mark, the defense they can't get a stop when it's crunch time.
Chris, I think you said it right, and we've explained it now 2 weeks in a row. The defensive stats don't necessarily look bad at the end of the game, but they just don't pass the eye test. And I think you've said it perfectly, Chris. They don't pass the eye test.
It is. I know. And by the way, they could run play action on that side of the ball when they're actually running the ball. But Jones does really good on our side with play action pass, except here's the thing. You got to run the ball. You got to be able to move the ball in order for play action pass, in order for the defensive backs and linebackers. Oh, he looks good. He's hiding the ball. Nice. From who? Who's he hiding it from? Those guys in the backfield don't respect the run at all. Oh, no. Jesus. So when we come back, Joe, our Sunday stiff.
It's that time again for a timeout from PATS Nation for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. CORSO Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket, or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group. Now back to PATS Nation.
Back in with more PATS Nation. I told you all at the beginning, you're not going to want to miss the Sunday stiff today. Joe, let's have it. I defer to Mr. Catone.
Okay. Chris, I think, listen, there were several stiffs. All right, and
Can you
I
give
know,
it to the whole team? Or can you give it
Well,
to the whole offense?
Chris and I were talking to Joe before that we came we came on today. We're like, can we have 4 or 5 Sunday stiffs? Well, is there a limit? Right? I'm gonna pick one. My Sunday stiff is the head coach, Bill Belichick. That's my Sunday stiff, Chris. The offense is play calling is terrible with McDaniels. Who does he report to? He reports to Belichick. So, yeah, you said McDaniels, that you didn't like the play calling. I was being soft on McDaniels. I was being soft on McDaniels because Belichick's the boss. Belichick's been watching this for 3 goddamn weeks now. Like, pull Josh aside and say, Josh, it's time we mix things up. Oh, wait a minute. You can't mix things up because you gave him shit to work with. Jesus Christ, who's the general manager? Belichick is the general manager. Who brought in your $100 million tight ends? The coach. The goddamn coach brought him in. The whole Chris Belichick. Guerrero kind of hinted that he was a dinosaur. I'm going to agree with Alex Guerrero now.
You didn't agree with him yesterday. You didn't agree with him yesterday. You changed your mind now for one game.
I changed my mind. He's a dinosaur.
By the way, you like those 2 tight ends. When we gave those, we got the tight ends now. We're ready to go. Joe, we're going to go back and listen to that tape.
Go back. I liked 1, not 2. 1. Chris, listen, all kidding aside, that's a different era of football. You're lining up 2 tight ends. That's a different era. That era's gone. As much as we want to say, oh, Belichick is a genius. But listen, the last 2 Super Bowls we won were Brady Super Bowls. They weren't Bill Super Bowls. I'm not saying Bill didn't have something to do with the earlier Super Bowls. Listen,
I think Bill had everything to do with the earlier Super Bowls.
But the last
we've always said that. And you said, in Mark's defense, you've said Brady from 2010 on.
Listen, I just think, Chris, every week it's compounding more and more. I don't know if Belichick, it almost seems like, Chris, and you'd be, the guy's supposed to be a Hall of Fame coach. He's at a loss, Chris. He don't know what to do with this team. He put this team together, but it's like, I don't think he knows what to do with them, Chris. It's the same thing every single week. What do you do with this personnel? What do you do with this team? Well, you're the goddamn coach who put them together. It's on you. You're the head coach. So I don't want to hear all this bullshit. Oh, it's the defense. It's the running backs. It's the reason. You put this goddamn team together. Ultimately, it falls on you as the head coach. You failed. Failed. Belichick's my Sunday stiff.
I thought you were going to give Belichick for one other. I thought you were giving McDaniels a little bit of a pass, and Belichick, you were crucifying for another reason, which what you were talking about during the game, that it's time to turn the keys over.
Well, I'm not going to get there yet, but I'm getting there. That may be during Pat's Nation next week. I'll bring that up. That might be my Catone's comments next week.
Well, you'll have the opportunity to after the Patriots-Bucks game, I'm pretty sure, after watching this debacle today. So, Mark, for me, if I can, I got so many. I agree with you with Belichick for a reason. The special teams sucked today, and that's his thing. Yeah. You put Bolden back there when he shouldn't be back there. J.J. Taylor should be there. You got a blocked punt, okay? Because not only does your offensive line suck, but your punt form, your offensive line on the punt team also sucks. Offsides, jumping, false starts. You're right. That's on him. The special teams is solely, squarely on that guy. But Mark, how do you not give the Sunday stiff to Jonnu Smith? $50 million. 50. Which way do I got to do it?
Who gave him that? Chris, who gave him that money?
Yeah, okay. You can say that about it. Every week you could give it. Every week they stink, you could give it to Belichick. That's the cop out. Every single week, if they all suck, you can give it to Belichick. Right? If the whole team sucks, the buck stops here, you give it to Belichick. Let's pinpoint who sucked. And in who sucked today was Jonnu Smith. He dropped 4 balls, 4 very catchable balls for a for a $15 million. I'm going to keep saying it, for a $15 million tight end. And one of them went for 6 points the other way. That's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. That may be okay for, Keene or Lacoste or some stiff that shouldn't be playing in the NFL. But this stiff.
Wait a minute. They shouldn't be playing in the NFL. They're on our roster. Hey, Jesus Christ, who brought them in?
Yeah. So to me, it's again, it's Jonnu Smith. He was terrible today. He hasn't shown up yet all season long. And I'm not sure if he's ever going to show up. So to me, that's a Sunday stiff. And Joe, you know what? I don't have anybody sitting with us today. I have nobody at the Sunday seat sitting next to us. Not one person. Sean Payton, he can sit with us right now. The coach of New Orleans can sit with us. That's it. So our Sunday stiff was presented by Corso Law Group. Mark, I'm disgusted. Arizona's leading criminal law firm, Corso Law Group.
Chris, I might have as my Sunday seat one of the guys he never drafted. Maybe I'll bring one of those guys as my Sunday seat.
What, Metcalf? Or any of them? Well, Mark, since you're already on the warpath regarding this guy, let's get to Brady versus Belichick, Joe. All right, Mark. So listen, I don't the reason I'm turning around is because the Bucs are playing right now. Brady hasn't thrown a touchdown. It's a tie game, but he hasn't thrown a touchdown yet. But listen, take Brady off for
you gotta even ask me who?
No,
I don't care if he throws 5 interceptions today. It's Brady over Belichick this week.
Yeah, Mark makes his position pretty clear, and I'm giving it to Brady too, without even seeing what Brady's going to do today, because I think the Rams are going to beat him. So I'll say this: I'm pissed off at Belichick, because not so much because of who he brought in and who he drafted. Yeah, that's enough to get pissed off about. But for the body language, the performance of the team, the way they look, the way they're carrying themselves. They're not carrying themselves like a typical New England Patriot team that we saw for 20 years. Now, again, you can give Brady credit for a lot of shit, okay? But everything, I mean, you can't give him credit for everything. But the way the team carries himself and the way they act and behave, and that's the coach. I mean, that's on the head coach. This Patriot way that you gave Belichick so much credit for yesterday, okay? Yesterday, Joe, Mark was talking Belichick up. You give him credit for building the Patriot way, and so do I. Well, where the hell did it go? What happened, Mark? I don't want to agree with Guerrero, because I think Guerrero's a rat weasel. That's who I think Guerrero is. I think he's a thief and a weasel. So I don't give credence to anything Guerrero says. But I will, again, the eye test. And it may be ready. It may be time. He's been coaching for 47 years. So, Mark, maybe it's time, right?
Oh, I thought I had my keys with me. I don't. I was going to turn the keys over to somebody else because that's what I don't have my keys on me, Chris. That's where I am at this point. I've been telling you this for 18 months. If you're going to really turn the page from the Brady era, you're going to have to turn the page from Belichick. And then you turn the page from that era. It was a great era. It was the greatest era you'll ever probably see in the history of football. But it's time to turn the page. And to turn the page, I hate to say it, it's got to be turned from Belichick too. And you give this kid Mac Jones, you turn him over to a young coach, offensive-minded coach, you bring in some receivers, you bring in some offensive weapons, maybe you get some defensive coaches to help, right? Whatever, I don't know. But I think you go into a new era of New England Patriot football. And there's no more Brady. There's no more Belichick. There's no more of that conversation going on because Belichick's moved on. Brady's moved on. It's a new era. You got a new quarterback, a young kid. Give him weapons. Do what you got to do. I think it's time. My opinion, Chris, at this point.
Yeah, listen.
And listen, they could win 9 games in a row.
Mark, is there anything that shows you they're going to win 9 games in a row?
I'm going to use your line, the eye test. The eye test tells me they're not winning 9 games in a row.
They're not winning 9 games in a row. So, again, I give it to Brady this week.
I give it to Brady.
And you know what? I come down on Belichick again this week precisely because of the damn special teams. Everything seems to be fading. So, Brady versus Belichick was brought to you by Jag Media Productions. Everything looks good today, Joe, on the Jag Media Productions. So, Mark, time to wrap it up here already in the show. We could talk for another 3 hours on this, but let's get going with our 2-minute warning, Joe. Mark, final thoughts.
Debacle. You said it. Your opening line When we came out an hour ago, this was a complete debacle. And you couldn't have said it any better, Chris. This was a complete debacle from offensive play calling, Josh McDaniels, from special teams, defense being soft when you needed them to come up with a stop, offensive line play, wide receivers, tight ends. It was a complete debacle. You want to pick an area to focus on, and I don't think you can have anything positive to say about any of them, Chris. And that's a scary thing because we know who's coming in next Sunday. Number 12. And guess who's flying in?
You know what? I'm right now. I'm on the fence on that. I'm on the fence whether I want to get on a plane and go 6.5 hours just to watch that crap. In the stadium. You know what I mean? So I can fly. I could be on the plane going back saying, "What the hell did I do this for?"
I said it to you in the last 30 seconds of the game today. Maybe, just maybe. Chris, it's a must-win game. If you lose next week, you're 1-3. You got to win a game.
Get their ass kicked next week.
All right, we'll see.
Okay, if everything.
All right,
my quick final word is this: if you're gonna pin this all to Belichick, then you know who else is gonna catch shit. Listen, if you're gonna say Belichick's done, turn the keys over, then why the hell did Kraft in 2017 not pay that man and turn to Belichick and say, "Hey, I'll run the risk of a 67-year-old guy going somewhere else and walking out on us because I need to pay the guy who's over here winning Super Bowls, and I'll give him a 10-year deal. I don't really care." Okay, yeah. That's my final thought. You already know what I think of the game. So, 2-minute warning was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. Every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be getting into that Bucs and Patriots breakdown for sure. So, Mark, some people to thank tonight. We want to thank the good people over at Special Sauce Podcast, Startup Finance, and Drive Yourself to Success, specialsaucepodcast.com. Jag Media Productions. Joe, everything looked great today. Nice job. Studio 42 Designs for all your graphic design needs, studio42designs.com. Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal defense firm. CorsoLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. And Mountain View Home Watch and Security, Scottsdale's leading home watch and security firm. Joe Guarneri, as always, our producer director, we'll have to thank him. Everything was real tight today, Joe, so thank you very much, including dealing with Mark and I and our just sheer disgust. The Bucs are coming. The Bucs are coming. The Bucs are coming. Feel like Paul Revere. The Bucs are coming, Mark. The Bucs are coming. Join us next week for the Pats Nation, the only Patriots post-game show worth watching. And now the program note: we will not be on 30 minutes following the Bucs game. We will be on one day following.
You'll be drinking a bottle of bourbon after that game, Chris.
We're going to be on Monday, October 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you get that note. October 4th, 7 p.m. Yeah, we're going to need a day to absorb all this nonsense. So, yeah, October 4th, 7 p.m. Eastern. And make sure you tune in to Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel, every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And this week, we're going to be previewing again that Patriots-Bucs game as the Buccaneers come into New England to face them, 8:20 Eastern, Sunday Night Football. God help us all. So, for Mark Catone, Joe Guarneri, I'm Chris Corso. The final score in this debacle is the New Orleans Saints 28, the Patriots 13. They drop to 1-2, and the first two games at home, both losses. So long, everyone.